Okay, hi everyone. This is Ron McKinney and Beth McKinney
Hi.
with Potted Photo. Most of you, obviously know us. I can see some very familiar names on there, but we're going to presume that there's a couple people on there who don't know us. So we're going to open up with introducing ourselves, and then of course we're going to turn things over to Jessica and Alexa and Gwen, so they can introduce themselves, and then we'll start with our updates. And as we do this, if you guys have any questions, please pose it in the chat. Don't do it in the Q&A. I don't really follow the Q&A, but we will be looking at the chat. So if you have any questions there, and again, just be sure you change your chat so it says to everyone, not just to the panelists. So for those of you who don't know me, Beth and I live in Chicago, and we have had a photography studio now for 6+ years, and I've been shooting dance since like 2008, 2009. And
before that.
Yeah. And we just built up a pretty good business. We do a lot of recital portraits, including Jessica's here. In fact, we're going to be doing an outdoor session, well, like outdoor, plus fabrics or something like that, coming up in a few weeks. A large part of our business is recital portraits, and then we also do color powder, rain, and just regular studio artistic shots and outdoor sessions. And then like I guess the thing I always like to describe it, why did we create Padida? And it's just because, like, when I first started doing this, nobody would talk to each other, among the photographers who did dance. So it was like I had to figure everything out by myself, and it was just, I don't know, I thought it wasn't a very smart way, because we're so much better as a community than we are like being so afraid of each other as competition, because we're not competition. We're a community, and being able to bolster each other up. And that's what we've been doing in our Facebook group. If anybody on here is not a member of our Facebook group, you'll definitely want to join us, because we share so much information there and give so much feedback.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. It's great to see so many people in the chat right now. If I haven't met you before, my name is Beth McKinney. Ron and I are excited to be planning our third conference with Padida, and excited to see the growth and the new things that we can do. I don't think we had a dream of how strong and vibrant the community would be, and how much dance photography as a specialty would be growing. We're seeing it everywhere, and we're excited to be part of it. I'd like to introduce now, or let them introduce our creative team. Our creative directors are really the backbone of so much that would happen as a conference. So would you guys like to say hello?
Yeah, for sure. I'll start. My name is Jessica Garrett. I am the artistic director and owner at Dynamic Perception Dance Company here in Chicagoland. We are in our 11th season. I graduated from Columbia College with my degree in dance teaching and choreography. I teach jazz, hip hop, contemporary, and acrobatics, and I do a lot of other things. I sit on the board for the Chamber of Commerce, and I volunteer with a lot of events and things like that. So that's me.
Hey everyone, my name is Alexa Cole-Clazier, and I'm the assistant director at Dynamic Perception Dance Company. And I went to college for dance as well. I graduated with my BFA in ballet and modern dance. Been dancing my entire life, and I'm really excited about the third conference and to get to know all of you. We mainly are in charge of getting all of the dancers and models and organizing them for everybody to shoot photos of, and we love doing it, and we're very excited. It's kind of an extension of what we do as dance teachers, so it's a pretty cool opportunity for us.
And my name is Gwen Loud. I grew up in New England, and then I went to school at Oklahoma City University, where I graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in American Dance Teaching and the styles of ballet, tap, and jazz. From then, I moved to the Chicagoland area, and I am the Associate Director at Dynamic Perception Dance Company. I'm very excited to be a part of Padada again this year, and I think that there are going to be wonderful memories made in Chicago.
As you can tell, we are all very excited to be hosting this conference in our home city of Chicago. So I think maybe that's a good place for us to start.
You know, one of the things is, you know, we've made some pretty big changes, you know, in the conference, and probably the biggest change we made after our last conference just a few months ago in Austin is that we changed from a February conference to a summer conference. And so we're going to be, it's going to be July 21 to 23, 2023 here in Chicago. And there's going to be some pre-conference events the day before on the 20th and post-conference events the night of the 23rd plus the 24th.
One of the reasons that we made that change, and there were several, but one of the reasons was it allowed us to use Chicago as a location. And that really is something that we're pretty excited about. We feel like the first two conferences, for a variety of reasons, we held at resort locations that provided amazing backdrops and allowed us to get off-site for some photos, but being in the city allows us to get urban looks, and in Chicago, a great variety of water, landscape, florals. I think the pictures will be amazing because there is so much opportunity, and it's exciting to think that we can use a city and not just a single location of a resort for our photos at this conference.
And so we've named this conference Bright Lights, Big City. So we're pretty excited about that.
And I think you're going to see that theme woven through a lot of great things that we do.
Yeah. So shall we turn on the slideshow? And
Yeah,
kind of
let's
go
take
through
a
that?
look.
Okay, so here we go. As I do this, I am not going to be able to see the chat. So Jessica, if you can keep an eye on the chats, and if anybody has any questions, go ahead and jump on in, okay? Okay, so here we go. So now, oh, I actually have to go back. Okay, we're just going to do it like this right here.
You don't want to go to view there?
I don't think you can you? Oh, maybe you can. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so here we go. We're going to be talking about what is new for 2023. And so, again, the conference is going to be the 21st through the 23rd. You know, we'll go over some of the pre-conference and post-conference stuff in a little bit. We're going to be at the Hilton Chicago on Michigan Avenue. And the beauty of that location is, oh my gosh, you know, like, I don't think we've ever shot in a place that is as beautiful in the interior as that place is.
Yeah. So we're going to share some photos that people took at a recent workshop from last summer. But I do just want to say, if you haven't been to Chicago and you're not familiar with Michigan Avenue, especially this part, it overlooks two large green space parks that Chicago has called Grant Park and Millennium Park. And then if you continue, you're going to run into Lake Michigan. So you are right downtown with all the architecture and the skyscrapers, and you are steps away really from the Chicago lakefront. Jessica, I think you went to school downtown. Is there anything else you would say about that location?
I did. I actually went to Columbia College Chicago, and our dance center is 2 blocks from the Hilton. I mean, we used to dance in the park on nice days, and so it's a beautiful park. We would walk all over. It's close to the just close to everything. You could literally take a picture with any type of background you wanted.
Absolutely. Right.
Wait a minute. And then we still have, you know, there's a registration. Our early registration is going to be good through October 15th. So that's just like a month away. So if those of you who have not registered yet, you want to take advantage of that, you know, now's the time to do that. And then you'll also be able to register for our pre-conference and post-conference sessions. Okay, so here's our pre-conference. We're going to start with what's happening on Thursday, July 20th. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a really crazy long photo walk where we start from there. You know, we're going to go. We're actually, I can't remember if we're going to start at the LaSalle Street Bridge in the Chicago Riverwalk area, and then work our way over
Back
there.
to the Hilton.
Exactly. So we're going to finish at the Hilton. We're going to like break it up into different groups. You know, it's like if there's like beginners in there, we want them to have their own group where somebody can really be talking to them, you know, about what settings to use and things like that. Whereas, you know, more experienced photographers will be in other different groups. And, you know, we'll have, you know, quite a few dancers there with us, and we'll be posing in all these different places. It's going to be insanely fun. You're going to get some of your greatest shots there, but you're going to be getting great shots all weekend. And then Sunday evening, we're going to go over to the Buckingham Fountain and shoot like in that area. For those of you who've never been there, Buckingham Fountain has this, I want to say it's like larger than a football field, but it's just this huge open space, you know, so you can be right up on the fountain and getting the Chicago skyline there, you know, or you can be farther back, and, you know, so there's actually just so many different, you know, locations that you can be shooting just to get some evening shots of the skyline. And, you know, for that, you will want to bring, you know, an off-camera flash, because it will be, you know, we will be going into the evening on that one.
I would just want to add one thing that's exciting about a summer conference is that the sunset is so much later. So we have really long days to work with. And because the weather is so nice, we're shooting into the dark as well. So one thing that we're planning to do is, even after social events on Friday and Saturday evening, be able to go back outside and do some more photos in the dark with the flash. And that's something that's a little bit harder to do in some other locations, but we think in Chicago, with the summer and the setting, it'll be tremendous.
So we won't be having the rain machine at our conference like we have the last couple of years.
Space at the Hilton doesn't allow it.
Right.
It's an old building.
And so we are going to do a workshop at my studio in Crystal Lake. You can actually take a train from downtown Chicago right to within a mile of my studio. So it's fairly easy to get to. And if you're driving, then of course it's really easy. But we're going to be doing like a pretty much of a full day workshop there, you know, where you're going to have opportunities to get some shots. I'm also going to talk about marketing, editing, and just how I do it and how you can do it. It's something, you know, a lot of us have been showing our pictures on Facebook, in our Facebook group, about like some that we're doing outdoors, some indoors. So it's pretty easy to do.
In the past, there were always some activities going on around the conference, and we learned that that's something that people really value. You're going to come to town for the conference. So we wanted to make sure we offer the opportunity to make it a longer stay and provide even more opportunities to practice your skills and have some time with the dancers who gather for this event. So if you are looking to make this an extended stay, and we hope you will, Chicago's a pretty great vacation spot too. Bring your family and use the time after or before the conference to enjoy parks and zoos and going up museums, heading up to the top of the Willis Tower, whatever it is you'd like to do in the city. But we wanted to build these events in too, so that you knew you could count on great experiences. How are we doing in the chat, Jessica? Okay.
Okay, so policies for scheduling sessions. Do you want to go over that one?
Yeah, so in reflecting on the conference with our leadership team and looking at feedback from attendees, it became really important to us to be clear about when people could do sessions that were not part of the conference. And so we are really going to hold all attendees to this part of the code of conduct, and all parts, obviously. But during the conference, from Friday through the end of Sunday, we will not be allowing any sessions that are, it's not sold out, any sessions that are not scheduled through the conference. So we know that everyone who comes is really excited to work with dancers, and we're working really hard with our creative directors to provide a lot of opportunities. But we want to make sure that anyone who's modeling, especially those who are minors, are supervised, that we're making sure we prevent injury, and that we're making time for the dancers modeling at the conference to do community building with our creative directors and other dancers who may be coming in to teach classes as well. So for all of those reasons, we want everyone to really understand how important it is to not be inviting dancers during the conference to participate in photo sessions that are not part of their schedule or your schedule.
The dancers are still like, they're here for pas de deux, and especially being in the big city, you know, Chicago, and if somebody steps out and does some urban shoot at 11 o'clock at night, and we're not aware of it, and we, you know, our creative directors don't know about it, we don't have anyone supervising it, you know, anything can happen. This is Chicago, and so we're just, you know, we just cannot allow that to happen. So just know that we're going to be pretty rigid with that.
Jessica, Alexa, Gwen, is there anything else you would add? I know you felt strongly about having these policies in place for the dancers.
I think you said it pretty well. It's extremely dangerous, both to these young ladies and to their bodies, to their schedule, and it just can't happen. I mean, I could go on a 2-hour conversation about it, but
You know,
trust and believe that we have reasons.
the bottom line is Jessica and Alexa and Gwen build a schedule for them based on they're going to be working, you know, doing these photo shoots at these times. They need to rest at this time. They're going to do so much during this whole day. They need to rest at the, you know, at the end of the day. And we are going to adhere to that.
And I think that's something that people don't realize is that, yes, dancers can dance for long extended periods of time, but holding like static poses for long periods of time actually drains our muscles way faster, and they atrophy faster, and we can get injured faster. So I think that's something that people don't necessarily understand. Like, oh, they can take an hour-long dance class, they can take 4 in a row. Why can't they pose that long? Well, we're not, you know, standing on our tippy toes for that long.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that we've talked about a lot is how enthusiastic our dancers are to do the modeling. They're very excited to have the experience. And by nature, a lot of dancers have a tendency to want to please the people they're working with. So those dynamics create a situation where a dancer may not vocalize or tell you if they're feeling tired, or may not even recognize in themselves. Some of our dancers are 15, 16, 17. They may be going and not realize they could be causing harm. And we feel like it's our job then to create policies and structures that prevent that.
By the way, somebody did comment in the chat channel that that the hotel is sold out on our weekend, and it's not. You know, there's obviously they make mistakes from time to time, and I think we still need to get a link from them.
So I received the link today, and I was yesterday, and I checked it out. It was working for me really well, but I was having some trouble with if I went 3 days forward or 3 days after. Our rate for the Hilton is guaranteed 3 days before the conference and 3 after, and they were fixing it today for us. I always like to check the link and then check it, and then maybe check it 10 or 15 more times before I share it with everyone. So I think it is ready now, and I don't anticipate you'll have problems. They've been lovely to work with, but if you do, just let us know. I'm sure we'll work it out. So we put some pictures in this next part because I feel like our descriptions maybe don't do justice to the kind of looks we can get in Chicago. So Ron, why don't you talk about some of the images? These are yours, and they're photos from the workshop in 2021.
Yeah, this is a shoot I did with a couple of dancers from the Joffrey. And we just kind of, this is actually at the North Avenue Beach. And so they're just like, I just want to get the water in the background, and the water's kind of splashing up on the area they're at. It's just a lovely shot, and that's so many wonderful shots of them in that whole area. I'm going to be putting together like, you know, a bunch of shots in each area that you can be going to with our, you know, like our group individual sessions. And when I say our group individual sessions, we're doing that differently this year, and we'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. But you know, this way you can kind of see what kind of shots you're going to get at all these different areas, because, you know, just like we're writing here, we got skyscrapers here, green space, urban grit, architecture. It's just there's so much to be had here. Fountains, graffiti.
Mhm.
It just
Right.
goes and goes and goes.
Yes. And that's something we really love. And I always tell people, Ron is not a native Chicagoan, right? Like I grew up in this area and took Chicago for granted all my life. We just call it the city when we live here in Chicago, right? But Ron discovered it as a dance photographer. And I think that really made you love the city in a really unique and special way.
Indeed. So here's just a couple of other shots. The one on the left is a reflective window near Millennium Park. And the one on the right is on the LaSalle Street Bridge, which is where we're going to start that shoot on Thursday. We know we get these girls up there. It's actually very safe. It's about 2.5 to 3 feet wide where she's standing right there. So it's quite safe. I mean, I'm not going to let them do like an arabesque or something like that up there, but it's just really, really pretty.
Perfect. We've got a few more.
We're going to be doing a couple of sunrise shoots. The one on the right is from our workshop last summer, and it's there at the Adler Planetarium. And oh my gosh, we had such a gorgeous sunset or sunrise for that workshop. And we had around 35 photographers, and I want to say we had around 15 or so dancers, there for that. And it was just really amazing. We had them set up in all these different places. It was really, really cool. And then over to the left is a shoot I did with a dance company. One of the dancers that's also at the Adler Planetarium, and kind of give you an idea of, like how it works there. There are so many locations.
Yeah, I feel like on the Chicago lakefront, obviously you can see that you can look out at the lake and you don't see the other side, right? It's so vast. And then you can also turn and you're looking at this major metropolitan area.
Yeah, like these two shots here, the one in the sunrise and then the girl over here on the left, it's actually in the almost exact same location. Just I'm shooting in one direction on one and then the opposite direction in the other.
And this is walking distance from the Hilton.
These shots here are both in the garden at the Art Institute.
And the Art Institute is across the street and down a little bit on Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, maybe 3/4 of a mile or so.
So very close.
This is inside the Chicago Hilton. We are going to have the space that we're shooting on the right, and we're hoping, we kind of have to wait to see if any weddings take up or any other events take up the space that's going to be on the left, which is like what we call the gold room. But we're going to have so many really cool locations, inside there.
So we always feel like the conference should have a balance of classes and experiences. We want people to be able to practice what they're doing, practice what they're learning, to have opportunities with dancers they may not have all the time, to enjoy the art of photography. So to that end, we are continuing to have studio setups in our trade show, outdoor instructor-led photo walks. We're going to have a format for doing more individual styled sessions. The modifications create safety, but still provide for the artistic freedom. And we've also worked with the Hilton to have some space inside, one of those being the Normandy room that you're talking about here on the right, which has the large windows and overlooks Michigan Avenue. So we think that combination of experiences is going to be really wonderful for everyone's artistic development. Of course, the classes are going to be amazing too, but in terms of space, I think this is going to be really exciting.
And here in the Normandy room, or maybe even somewhere else, I don't know, I'm going to have Jessica talk about this in just a second, but we were talking about creating
like vignettes,
like a little scene, if you will, with, it's going to be more like art directed, if you will. And Jessica had some ideas, I think, and you want to kind of talk about it a little bit, Jessica?
Yeah, of course. So we definitely want to create a lot of different opportunities for our photographers to photograph our dancers and use the beautiful indoor of the Hilton. So we're going to do a moment, well, more than a moment, but a moment where we have the dancers posed in certain areas, and each photographer can go by and take photos of those dancers in the different like vignettes that are like predetermined of where they're going to stand for this amount of time. So you'll be able to walk around during this time and get, Sally and Sarah and all of these different dancers in all of these different places in a short amount of time.
And it's going to be just more art directed, if you will. So it's not going to be like, okay, they're just going to be standing on stairs. It's going to look really, really cool.
Mhm.
I'm excited. Okay. So again, our theme is going to be Bright Lights, Big City. All of our conferences are going to be different. And this one, we're going to be able to bring in the urban looks. And just everything that comes with Chicago is going to be a whole new vibe to it.
Yeah. It's, there's something really nice about having a conference in the same place every year, the comfortability of that. But what we really like is the ability to explore a new geographic area, get different looks with each conference. And so we really wanted to emphasize that theme, Bright Lights, Big City. And I think you'll see it in some of those art directed vignettes, some of the looks we're thinking of.
Go ahead.
So we've wanted to expand a little bit about our social events for a while now. And so this year, for the first time, we are offering a Saturday night gala, a semi-formal event in which we will be, of course, socializing, celebrating dance photography, enjoying our time together, but also fundraising for a local Chicago organization that supports dancers in Chicago. We feel like the city is hosting us, and this is a way to give back to the community of dance here in Chicago. Right now, we're talking to a couple organizations, but our gala will feature a few different opportunities to raise money. Tickets for photographers, you're invited to the gala by purchasing by registering for the conference. So on Saturday night, that social event is the gala. We hope you will dress in semi-formal, and photographers are already have a ticket embedded in their registration. But anyone else who's attending, if you have someone from your family or significant other coming with you, if dancers or their families would like to attend, they can purchase tickets to join the gala. And we will also open up some registration to others in the Chicago dance community who might want to join us for this gala. Oh, I skipped right past it. There will be a couple ways that we are fundraising: a 50-50 raffle, proceeds from the ticket sales, and a silent auction at the gala. I hope you guys will have a lot of fun with this. We're really excited to have it.
Before we go to the next one, we'll also be having a social event on Friday where we'll be announcing,
Yes.
our photo competition winners, just like we did at the Austin. That was very popular, and that'll be a lot of fun.
Yep, we'll continue with that gallery.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to talk about dancers a little bit. So I'm going to let our creative directors take the lead.
So all of the dancer models go through an application process. They apply with pictures and different information, and we go through those to select the best possible dancers and models for all of you to photograph and work with throughout the weekend. Every dancer there is amazing. We look for dancers, a lot of versatility in the dancers that we invite. We want different looks, different ages, different style specialties. So we look for a big variety. So the dancers, as you'll see here, give some information about the dancer deadlines for applications and when invitations will go out. If we have any dancers that are joining us tonight to learn more about the dancer side of the conference, we are always happy to additionally talk to you and answer some of those questions. But the first deadline for application is coming up very soon, September 30th. We're going to have a webinar on November 11th, which will help give a little bit of additional information for our dancers as well. And then our late application deadline, if you need a little bit more time to decide and make some plans, is going to be on January 31st. So it gives you a little bit more time. And then you'll get that invite by early March. So we're looking forward to seeing all the dancer applications that come in, and for our photographers to provide the best group of dancers that we can for the event.
So I think one of the keys is, like if many of our photographers have dancers, that want to apply for this, and so you want to let them know that September 30th is our first deadline, and that's when you get to be considered for Bright Lights Big City All-Stars, which was so much fun, at our Austin conference.
I just love that performance, and I'm so glad that we're continuing that.
So get the word out. Okay.
So there are some new approaches that we have embedded into our process for working with dancers. We're always looking to make sure that everyone feels valued and that everyone is feeling they're treated fairly and that everything is running safely. We mentioned this before, but we just want to say again that dancers and photographers, we're really going to be sticking to our schedule, no off schedule photo shoots. In addition, at the last conference, there were some people who had maybe signed up for times to work with a dancer, or dancers who were scheduled for times to work with a photographer. And when the people missed those sessions, there were several problems that evolved. And so we are going to be emphasizing with everyone involved how important it is to keep a schedule and what you should do if you can't keep your schedule. But we want people to know now that just when you're signing up for those opportunities at studio setups or to be part of individual photo walks, just really think about your schedule and make sure you know you can be there. It's very disappointing for a dancer to be ready to go out and work and not have a photographer to work with. In addition, we're using an app this year. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Jessica? I'm really glad to have this piece.
Yes, it's an app that we use at our dance studio for our very large shows. And it is a check-in, check-out kind of an app. And so I can check somebody in, I can check somebody out, I can make notes. I will be able to, it timestamps the exact time that a dancer or a photographer, if they're supposed to be there, checks in at that location, so that we can have that, number one, have that data for the future when making selections for our models of the future, but also to keep everybody held accountable for being on time and staying on schedule. And when you're on a photo walk with a group of our dancers, you're bringing them back on time, and it'll help us make sure that we know where all of our dancers are at all times. Realistically, I should be able to walk around and I know exactly who I will see where at what time.
Absolutely. We've also expanded, and we started with a team of wonderful creative directors, and to support them in their work with the dancers and to make this a really rich experience for dancers, we added dance educators last year, and we're continuing that this year. And I'm going to let Gwen and Jessica talk about dance mentors.
So our dance educators are other dance professionals that help to teach classes. So not only do our dancers get to be involved in all of these wonderful photo shoots, but they get to take classes. We have a big enrichment day on the first day where they get to take classes in all different styles, learn about dance modeling, dancer safety, all of these types of things. And so those are our dance educators that join us in teaching. Dance mentors is something that we are going to add this year as another level of safety, but also it is a benefit for both dancer and photographer. So their role will be that they are going to go out on our photo walks, and they are there to help the dancer, but also the photographer. So now these will be professionals that are very skilled in what they do, and they know dance, they know everything about it. So if the dancer is not hitting something, they can communicate to the dancer how to get that shot faster. Maybe if the photographer doesn't know, which can teach the photographer things, or the photographer can ask that mentor, how do I say this? What does this word mean? Or whatever the case may be, but it gives them another person that they can ask in those moments. So when we go on the scheduled photo walks, the individual session photo walks, there will be a dance mentor available, as well as one of the dance educators walking around.
Yeah, I think it's going to be wonderful. Ron had a really positive experience last year working with a dance professional on a photo walk, and the collaboration was really amazing. And we feel like that collaboration is the heart of Pas de Deux. We're always looking at the partnership. So the primary partnership is always the photographer and the dancer. But the truth is, in dance photography, there's a lot of other collaboration that happens. Dance teachers, studio owners, partnering with photographers, supporting dancers. So we want to bring that to the conference as well. Those applications, by the way, are on our webpage until September 30th. September 30th is a due date for several applications with the conference. So if you know someone you think would be a great educator or a mentor for the conference, please do encourage them to apply. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit more about safety. We've always had this as a priority for the conference, and this year we're expanding and have a more comprehensive approach to harm prevention and reporting. On this slide, we kind of try to summarize some of the key points that we think are hallmarks of our approach. If you didn't read this at the time of registration, we are requiring background checks for all speakers, volunteers, staff, and attendees.
In other words, everyone.
Yes. So in this way, we know that we have screened people for any possible backgrounds that could be a danger to anyone who's at the conference. These background checks don't look at anyone's financial picture. They don't look at any other personal detail. They are criminal background checks that we're looking at. And this will be emailed to all photographers at the same time as we send the code of conduct and the course that needs to be viewed prior to attending the conference. It'll all happen at once in March of 2023, giving everyone plenty of time to complete those processes. Our code of conduct has been expanded, and we will be sharing it on our website for anyone who wants to see it early, but it really just details a lot more about the importance of communication and what appropriate boundaries are in this relationship between photographers and dancers. We really feel like the things that are happening at the conference are what we want to replicate all of the time in our relationships, but we want to be very clear and state them outright. Okay, so outdoor individual photo walks. In the past, there were photographers working with dancers in a very individual way, and we want, especially in a large city, but in general, as a best practice for our event, to provide additional supports for those. Jessica, do you want to describe it, or do you want me to describe?
I'm happy to describe it.
Thank you.
Of course. So yes, we've done like more of like an individual one-on-one, 2-to-2, 2-to-1, and we are moving to more of a group setting with a predetermined location. Just for an example, I don't know schedules. That's their job. We're going to go to Grant Park on Saturday at 12:30. That is your scheduled time. There will be, I don't know, so many slots and so many dancers. We will all meet at the same time. We will all go at the same time. If there's 10 photographers, there's also 10 dancers. So within that parameter of Grant Park that I will set, right? You are free to go and take photos of these dancers and try to like communicate with them and have those types of experiences. But at all times, a creative director or a dance mentor or another dance educator will be present. We feel strongly, and we always have, that any photo shoot should be observable and interruptible. And that's something that we say all the time. And so that's the way that we're going to do this from now on. Did I cover it?
Yes. What we really like about this approach is it gives people some creative freedom to find the great looks that they want to within those locations, Grant Park, Millennium Park, a certain block wherever we are working, but there's also a great number of adults. Parents are still encouraged to attend. Observer badges are still a big part of our conference. That's not changing. But by having some other professionals there, dancers have increased security and photographers have support. So we really feel like everyone is winning in this situation. We don't want to take away any creative freedom, but we want to encourage all photo shoots, as Jessica said, to be both observable and interruptible. And I think that's an easy thing to do here.
Mhm.
I think we've already talked about the unscheduled photo shoots and about people being present. The next piece is this. We've always encouraged dancers and photographers, anyone attending, to let us know if they have a concern about behavior they've observed or experienced. But we have taken it a step further this year and created a form that people can easily access, so they know how to tell us if they have a concern. And there's no misunderstanding what's conversation and what's concern reporting. As part of our training through YPAD and Safe Sport, we really had a chance to think about what this form should entail. The Google form is online on our website and always accessible to anyone who wants to let us know something that they're concerned about. It can be submitted anonymously, but I think that it's also great if you can share your name, because it allows us to follow up and get more information if we have questions. We will also have paper copies of that form at the information desk at all times over the course of the weekend at the conference. So attendees, parents, dancers, vendors, speakers, everyone has a voice in saying, this is a concern to me. And we hope that we will pair that with past practices of talking with dancers, of educating photographers. I think these extra pieces will really help.
And we see your comments there, Bob and Thomas. And
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. The main thing is that we want to be safe, okay? And we're really not taking away any creative freedom by doing this. We're just like creating more of a safe environment. That's the most important thing here.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys saying that, and we'll just keep going now. We're done on this one?
Yeah, can I just mention, I posted about this in the Facebook group, but I think it's really valuable for any photographer working with anyone under the age of 18, but I mean, really just in general, great information from Safe Sport. They've been a great resource to us, and their Safe Sport Trained Core course. We have a link on our website. It's a $20 course. It's full of really smart, thoughtful information. And I encourage anyone who's values safety in their practices as a dance photographer to consider taking that course. We don't benefit in any way personally, outside of the fact that we believe in this. And we want to be part of spreading the word. Yep.
That one.
So a lot of what we're doing here today is based on feedback from the people who attended past conferences. We send out a feedback form after every conference. This community is about all of us, and so the feedback is integral. So we did have some feedback that maybe photographers weren't always as polite as they could be to dancers, and some feedback that maybe some dancers were asked to do special things and others were not, and there were secret photo shoots. And I share that only because I want people to know how sad that kind of made us, because we value every dancer that comes to this conference. And it's really important to us that all of them walk away knowing how great they are. And I think that in the moment, it's tempting to get excited to work with a dancer. You have a creative vision, you have an idea of something you can do. But we really encourage everybody to remember that other people did see that. And so that meant it was happening to some extent. And if it was, please make sure you're just not part of it. Think about when you're talking to a dancer, you want that dancer to feel valued and appreciated, but you don't want them to feel like they're competing with other dancers at this conference. We've really worked hard to make it a community over competition environment. Jessica, Alexa, and Gwen built in community building. They build in time to get to know their dancers and have those strong relationships, and we want to support them in their work.
Like even those secret photo shoots, and sometimes what it was a dancer is there and And they may have come because they know a photographer
Sure.
who's attending there. And so they think, well, I can go do a shoot with them. But the fact is, no, you can't go do a shoot with them during our conference because of a number of reasons. Number one, the safety factor. But the other thing is that this impression right here where, oh, look, that dancer is getting preferential treatment over here. They're going off on a secret photo shoot because we know this is after hours and they're not supposed to be doing a photo shoot. And that's just not the community that we want to create here, where you're going to have plenty of opportunities to do shoots. And if you want to stay longer, you can always do that as well. Even if you don't participate in our pre and post conference, if you want to set up a shoot, after the conference is over, you're more than welcome, or before the conference, you're more than welcome, to do that. This is a crazy cool place to do it. So please do.
And we hope that if you do, that you really think about, making it feel like a very safe thing. And you do keep in mind those two hallmarks of having an interruptible and observable photo shoot, because I think that is going to make a great difference in everyone's experience.
And I think something that some people don't realize or remember about the secret photo shoots, other than exhausting our dancers, it's happened both times. And, Sally, was asked by this person to go do a shoot. And she's like, well, I've already done this kind of thing before, so I'll go over here. And now she's missing. So now I have to move this person, and then I have to move this person, and then I have to move this. And it's like this never ending trickle effect. And by the time I figured that all out, then I find out that another person isn't there because they're too tired. And then you as photographers are frustrated because you don't have your dancer because of this whole puzzle that we've spent 6 months creating. And trust me, we have backups, we have people on deck, and almost every time last year all of those dancers were used almost every single time.
And they shouldn't have to be.
No.
We don't want to overwork dancers who do respond and come for their photo sessions. And we don't want any dancer to feel like they have to take those secret sessions. And I think that some dancers might have a hard time saying no to a photographer. If you're asked to do a photo shoot and you really want to be taking pictures, it's a hard place to be in. I just don't want to put those dancers in that situation.
Yep. Okay.
Thanks.
Do it again.
Okay. So in all, our approach, we feel, is more expanded and comprehensive. And the next piece has to do with our course that we have been creating. We don't just want to tell people what the rules are. We really want to help people think about best practices for communicating with dancers. So we started in a variety of ways, taking notes even before the Austin conference on what we thought would be good practices and what we would want photographers to know. We've been listening. There was a conversation in our Facebook group. We've been reflecting, and we did some interviews with some photographers to enhance this course. So what we're doing right now is creating an interactive course that will be required for attending the first conference, which means that anyone who is registered for the conference is having the opportunity to take the course at no additional cost. And the course will talk about working with dancers in safe ways that promotes their physical and mental well-being. We think it's going to be a great benefit to everyone. I think there's going to be content that some people know very well, and there's also always new things to learn and to think about. We don't think there's any one way to talk to a dancer or one way to set up a photo shoot, but we want to provide a lot of tools and guidelines and best practices for people to think about.
And it's really good, even if you know that you're the type of person with a lot of integrity that's always concerned about the safety of the dancer. And, that's at the very core of who you are. Like when you take these courses, it kind of gives you like more enlightenment as to how you might be perceived by the dancer, even if you're coming across that way. And I just think it's really helpful to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So one thing that we're seeing, and we're excited to see, is that as people are giving us proposals to be speakers at the conference, and that speaker application is open through the end of this month, closes on September 30th. We're seeing a lot of topics on poses for dance, safety in dance, how to work with dancers, and it's exciting to see both dance educators and photographers proposing these topics. So we want to let you know that we did include those in the past, but I think you're going to see more of them at the next conference. We really want the conference to support people at all levels of photography and all levels of working with dancers. We know some people attending the conference are professional photographers with amazing credentials, but maybe they haven't worked with dancers before. And then there's dancers who are learning photography, so they know the dance piece. But we want to make sure you know that we're really working to support that. And what's great is that you all are helping us. So thank you to everybody who's proposed those topics for bringing them. We want to keep seeing those as part of what's offered as an option for people to learn at the conference. Should I keep going? So in putting out a call for speakers, and this is something we've promoted more this year than we have in the past, we want to keep bringing back the excellent dance photographers who've been coming to the conference and providing education. But we also recognize there's a lot of talent out there that hasn't had a chance yet to lead a workshop or lead a photo walk or be a speaker at the conference. So we're excited. We know when we start announcing speakers in November, there's going to be some new faces, and with that, new topics, and alongside them, returning speakers with topics that you loved and topics that are new. So there's a lot happening that's going to, I think, continue to elevate us as this specialty of dance photography grows. We're also taking submissions for roundtable topics and panels. You can decide, you can propose a panel, for instance, with 3 other people who you feel like you have a great amount of knowledge in a specific area. Maybe you feel like you really want to talk about natural light photography that you do in urban areas. And so, you know, you have an approach, but you have a friend or you know someone on social media who does great work in a different city. You can propose that. You can also propose the topic and just say, I'd like to be on this panel. I don't know who else should be with me, but I think this would be a great topic. Let us know. Use the speaker form for that. Likewise, if you have an idea for a roundtable topic, you just want to get together in a room and you want to talk to people about pricing, and you don't need someone to lead that. You just want to get together with your peers who are coming to this conference. You want to benefit from being together and talking about what it's really like for you. Let us know you have that idea. You can use the speaker application or just email us your ideas for roundtable topics. But hearing from you drives what we bring to the conference. We are always listening. We take notes out of the Facebook group. We take notes after we have phone conversations. We look for themes and trends in our Facebook group and other social media. So telling us directly is great, but please know we're always watching. And then, Ron, we have some dance professionals who are already committed to this conference that we're pretty excited about.
Yeah, I've been doing photo shoots with Ballet Chicago now for 9 or 10 years, and they're the founders, the creative and artistic director, Dan Duell and Patricia Blair, have agreed to come in and do a master class for the dancers. Dan was a dancer at the New York City Ballet under George Balanchine, and so that's the type of ballet they teach at Ballet Chicago. So that's going to be a lot of fun with that. And just did another photo shoot a week ago or so with Ann O'Donnell. She's entering her 9th year with Martha Graham, and she has agreed to also, you know, participate that weekend. We're still like working everything out, but you know, we're talking about having her do a master class, or maybe even just talking to the dancers about how to do, you know, posing for photo shoots, and then she'll be posing as well for some group shoots that we do. So that'll be really cool.
In the past, we had worked to have professional dancers, and while no time of year is perfect, some of the feedback we got is that many professionals feel summer is a more flexible time for them to commit to a conference. Rehearsal schedules prevented some people from joining us in Austin, which was disappointing. And we are excited that in Chicago, we don't anticipate having that problem. Okay, so this is the end, McKinney.
This is it. And so after we finish this part here, this is the time for you guys to start putting some questions in the chat. So we'll talk about this, and then, we'll look in the chat to see if you guys have any final questions, but go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, I just want to remind people that early registration is closing on October 15th, and that registration form is at the Positive Photo website. We will be posting in the Facebook group, sending emails, and using social media for announcements, including speakers, details about the gala, topics for classes, and portfolio review registration. All of that is still coming. There were some questions in the chat about the link for Hilton. Like I said, I got that link yesterday, spent some time playing with it. And today our contact got back to us and said it is ready to go. So I'm going to play with it a little more before I share it with you guys, because I like to make sure it works for me before I give it to anyone else. But I will be emailing it tomorrow, probably in the evening, to all registered attendees. We will also post it on our website and post it in the Facebook group. So there's 3 different ways you might receive that information. If you have registered for the conference, you'll get that email. Otherwise, it will be available publicly. We have negotiated a group rate of $199 a night at the Hilton on Michigan Avenue, which is a pretty fabulous rate for downtown Chicago in a beautiful time of year. We're really excited to be working with that Hilton. They've been generous and excited to have us, which is a great thing for our conference. That rate is also available to attendees for 3 days before and 3 days after the conference. But if the Hilton starts to book on those dates before and after the conference, those rooms could start to disappear. Over the weekend of the conference, the block of rooms is more secure, but before and after, there's a little bit more fragility. So if you want to make sure you have that, you can make a reservation with the link when you get it, and it's not going to charge your card except maybe a deposit. You're not actually paying for those rooms until you come. So if you think you're going to be extending your stay, we advise people to go ahead and reserve their rooms now. So we're going to take down the slides. I hope I answered people's questions. I know, Deborah, I'm sorry to hear that you had problems making your reservation. Nina, I know you've been looking for that link, so I'm excited that we have it. I hope I answered those questions. Are there others?
Okay, so Bob says, did he hear correctly that you'll begin announcing speakers and teachers in November? Hopefully we're going to be doing it before then. September 30th is our deadline.
Mm-hmm.
We do have one person here that we're finalizing everything with.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go through those names, he's right there.
Yes, but I feel like I say November to be safe, but I think that you'll see some announcements even before then.
Yes, indeed.
Great question.
Somebody asked, can you talk about model releases? I'm not sure what the
yeah, that's always a very good question. And when the dancers apply to be a model at our conference, what they're doing is they're signing a release allowing for any attendees here that take their pictures to use their images in a promotional way. In other words, for social media or on your website or something like that. Not necessarily to sell. If you're able to sell the images, then I think you need to enter some kind of contract with the dancer. But most of us are doing it mainly to practice or to just create some amazing art here with bright lights, big city. Okay, any other final questions? Otherwise, we're ready to wrap up. Nina, I know we're excited too. Can't wait to see you again.
So glad you're going to be back. It's nice to see so many people in here who are familiar faces and some new people too.
Yeah. It's always exciting to see who's new at each conference as we continue to grow. Okay.
Yes, you're right, Sorsha. We need to dress up for that. Okay.
So Theano, I'm not going to say no. I think it's something that
we need to talk off the chat.
Yeah. But that's not something I'm just automatically going to say no to. He was asking about, possibly doing an editorial model release. So,
yeah, I think we'd like to talk more about that and understand it a little bit.
Yeah, and it's really more of like being sure that your dancer agrees to it as well. That's the most important thing. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Okay, everything is cool. Okay, very good. So that'll be it for this time. Jessica, go ahead and say goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you for all hanging out. We hope to see you all at the conference, and stick to your schedule.
Thank you all so much. We're excited to see you here and can't wait to share our city with you.
All right, really looking forward to seeing everybody here. It's going to be a blast. See you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.